It's more than just your output, more than a bike. When you hear your shout out, you know it's all right. Put on your magic pants and let's go. We're cruising into the power zone. Clip in, set yourself free. Come on and take a ride with me. Know what you need to know and what's it all about. Everything you need, it's on the Clip Out.
Welcome to the Clip Out Podcast, episode 382. This is Crystal O'Keefe.
And this is Tom O'Keefe.
Hi.
Hi. So before we dig in too much, we should probably talk about our New York City meetup.
Oh, it's only like 27 days away.
Holy cow.
Actually, I think it's less than that. That's when the marathon is. So
right.
I think the meetup is only like 24 days away.
Yeah, so the marathon's less than a month away. I hope you've started preparing.
Nope. I haven't run 1 mile. So we were hoping that anyone who is in the New York area, either visiting for the marathon or that lives there, we would love to see you. We're going to do a meetup, and it is going to be at the Copper Still, and it's in Chelsea, so near the old studio.
Oh, the old studio.
Yeah.
We can all go by and reminisce.
We can. And so on November 1st at 6 p.m., Eastern, or it'll be local time there. And so it's going to be $46. That is all the food included. There's a cash bar, and we would love to see you.
Will there be chicken tenders?
Of course, Tom.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then I will go. Yeah.
And we have to say a huge thank you to Janet and Gordon for setting this up. I think Janet did all the phone calls. So
their marriage is similar to ours.
He's been busy.
Right. I've been busy.
So thank you.
People on YouTube get to see the eye roll.
That was a pretty light one. Like, that didn't hurt. Sometimes I roll them so hard that it like hurts.
She needs to lay down for a minute.
Yeah. Like, whoa.
Yeah.
But we hope to see lots of you there. We will also have a little surprise that weekend too.
Oh,
you know about the surprise.
Oh, okay.
I'll let you figure it out. Okay. Anyway, so hope to see you there.
Yes, absolutely. So now that we've got that out of the way, what, pray tell, do you have in store for people this week?
Well, we have our interview with Danny Lopez. He has this great fitness story, so we get to talk to him about that. And of course, find out who his favorite instructor is/was, if that's changed. Hint, it had to do with Kendall.
Yes.
But like in all the best ways. Like, this was a great conversation, and really enjoyed it. So very happy to have Danny Lopez join us. We also have a bunch of details coming up, like new features that Peloton dropped. We have another pop-up store we're going to talk about. We have new content that Peloton has been dropping, Playdates and artist series, and apparently you can register for a Peloton now. So like in your wedding.
Like in your wedding gift registry.
Maybe if you're having a kid, I don't know.
Yeah.
We have a whole list of updates to the different teams, strength team and the tread team.
A bunch of instructors taking on new job duties.
Yes. There's instructor meetups coming. There's all of the meetups that will be happening within the New York Roadrunners Association, their partnership with Peloton, Marathon Weekend in New York. There's a bunch of stuff going on, and we'll be talking about that as well. And of course, we have some instructors to congratulate. There was a 10-year anniversary this week. And I think besides birthdays and other miscellaneous, that is all.
Okay. Well, actually, there are no birthdays. Spoiler. There's no birthdays. So, but and we should also say over on the Patreon this week, some fun stuff talking about how fitness trackers can cause anxiety. Mm-hmm. An instructor bouncing back from a shoulder injury. We'll let you know which one that is. And the benefits of fart walks. So you'll hear all about that over on the Patreon. So but before we get to the show proper, shameless plugs, don't forget we're available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeart, TuneIn, wherever you get a podcast, you can find us while you're there. Be sure and follow us so you never miss an episode. Maybe leave us a review. That is super helpful. You can also find us on Facebook at facebook.com/theclipout. While you're there, like the page, join the group. What else? Oh, our aforementioned Patreon. What is that, you ask? Well, over at patreon.com/theclipout. the clip out. For $5 a month, you get ad-free episodes. If we get it early, you get it early. And every week we record a bonus episode. They're 15, 20, 25 minutes long, depending on how chatty we are. And it's just all the stuff we didn't have time to get to in the regular episode. So it's like a whole other show for you over there, just more.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also, you can watch all of these on YouTube. And then, of course, sign up for our newsletter at theclipout.com, where all the links and stuff we talk about in the episode will get sent to you on a mostly weekly basis. So there's all that. Let's dig in, shall we?
We shall.
Peloton in the news.
Starting this week, bike and treads.
I guess it started rolling out last week.
Okay. Bikes and treads now can sort your total distance.
Okay, yeah, I'll do it.
Okay.
You do not make it sound good at all.
I'm just like, okay.
Well, no. So it shows you can either look at your distance by week, month, or year. So on the tread, for example, my particular graph was really cool because it shows from 2018 when I first got my tread all the way to 2024 by year, and the mileage keeps going up and up and up and up. And this year I have 480 miles on the tread just this year.
Wow.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, I guess next year it'll probably
it's going back down.
Because you won't be training for a marathon.
No.
But
I will not.
Yeah. You get the fever.
But some people have had, I'm not going to get the fever. We've talked about this. But some people have had the bike for, going back to 2013,
right.
2014. So how cool to be able to see how your distance has changed every year.
Yeah.
Have you added a row? Did it change then? Did it change when you got a tread? Like, it's really great to be able to see that.
Right.
So it is interesting to note that this is only for the bike and the tread. So far, they have not dropped any kind of distance for the row.
Okay.
Probably because that's going to be under meters. So it's going to be a little bit different. Just a guess.
Damn metric system. I never thought about it. So you can't toggle between meters and miles, or I just think that people in the UK on a bike, or Canada, and basically anywhere else, they still have to get all their metrics in miles. They can't get them in kilometers.
As far as I know, I don't know that with the bike and the tread, but
right.
I do think, I'm pretty sure it's all miles.
Okay.
And then on the row, it's all meters.
Interesting.
Yeah. You look very bothered by this.
Well, I'm just like, you think it would be one or the other? You wouldn't think that.
Well, but row across the world.
It's just row is always measured in meters.
By meters.
So they probably just didn't even think about it.
That would be my guess.
And then they're just like, oh, wait, now they don't. But I would have thought going into these European countries that they'd be like, I don't want to see it in miles. I want to see it in meters. That's what they're used to seeing.
I mean, there's definitely other apps that I work with, like the MetPro app. I know we've had to, people don't measure in pounds, they measure in kilograms.
Right.
So that's we have to have all those stats be able to be shown, and you get to choose what you want to see, if you want to see it in pounds or kilograms.
Yeah.
So,
and it's a really easy conversion for a computer to do. So I'd be surprised it doesn't. So, okay, this is new information.
Yeah. I didn't really think of it from that vantage point, but you're right. It is interesting.
As we were talking about in the last segment, the New York City Marathon is just around the corner, and they've released all the sorts of Peloton activities that they're doing there. We will start with the ShakeOut Run.
We will, and this takes place on Thursday, October 31st, so Halloween, from 5 to 7. It's going to be at the Pavilion at Tavern on the Green at the location of the marathon. And
that's where Gozer attacked in dog form.
You're going to have a warm-up run. You're going to see instructors there.
You're going to run because Gozer will be chasing you.
You are going to have a shakeout run, and there will be a cool down at the end of it. And then we're going to hightail it out of there because we're going. And then we run over to the studio for our 8:30 with Mariana. She's going to be at both of these events, so I figured they can't start the class without her.
You can just carpool.
There, Mariana, can I just join you?
Yeah, can we just hitch a ride in your Uber?
Take us backstage.
Yeah. That seems like that'll work out.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Why wouldn't it?
So for the ShakeOut Run, you're going to be seeing Mariana Fernandez, Logan Aldridge, Jeffrey McGee, and Eric Yeager. So 2 of the German instructors are going to be at the ShakeOut Run. Isn't that cool?
Yeah. We've never met a German instructor, right?
No, we haven't, because when we were in London, we didn't run into any of them.
Right. Because they're in Germany.
They are. Yeah. So the ShakeOut Run is going to be, it starts at 5, it ends by 7. There's going to be food, beverages, and they say fun surprises after the run. And like I said, a warm-up and a post-run stretch. So that is all that.
There will also be a meet and greet.
Yeah. Now, this takes place at the Marathon Expo. Now, you might have already signed up for a slot at the Expo. In fact, you had to a long time ago. You can't change it now.
Okay.
So that's going to suck for some people because the instructors, the Peloton instructors are going to be at the Expo, but different slots. For example, there's going to be on Friday from 1 to 1:45, there's a panel with Robin and Christen. And then at 2 to 3, there is a meet and greet with Robin and Christen. From 4 to 5, there is a meet and greet with Eric and Mariana. And then on Saturday, 10 to 11, meet and greet with Alex, Kay, and Logan. 12 to 1, meet and greet with Jeffrey and Rad. And then 2 to 3, there's going to be a meet and greet with Maddie and Tunde.
Wow.
So, yeah, it's a lot.
There's a whole bunch of people there.
I know, right?
There will also be a cheer zone. I guess this is where I will be.
I don't know, because, you know, the thing about the cheer zone is it is at mile 19, which if you run the entire Pro Shot New York City Marathon, it's really cool when you go by the Peloton thing because you can see the Peloton cheer zone is huge.
Okay.
I don't know if there will still be people out there when I reach mile 19 because it starts at 9 a.m. and it goes till 7 p.m. It says that they'll be there all day, but I heard last year they abandoned ship long before the last runner came through.
Gotcha.
We will see. But at mile 19, and hopefully you will be there, and then you just hop over to the end, and I'll see you at the end.
Is that easy to get to?
We'll figure it out.
Because there's 26 miles in a marathon.
Right, but you're already in 19. You're already in Manhattan. It's all in Manhattan.
But that's 7 miles.
Right.
I don't want to do 7 miles.
No, I'm not asking you to walk it.
Okay. Like there's like I can cut across or
I'm
something.
sure.
Like you're on a loop, right? Because I just feel like this is you tricking me into doing like a quarter marathon.
No.
Or whatever 7 miles would work out to be.
I have a handler set aside for you.
Okay.
You will be fine.
It's because it does say in my rider.
I know.
I will not walk more than 2 miles that day.
I'm aware.
So
unless you're at Disney, then you'll walk 15.
That's different. It's different.
Okay, but anyway.
There's Dole Whips.
At mile 19, DJ John Michael will be there. He's going to be DJing up the joint, and there's going to be giveaways. So, yeah, you might be able to get some Peloton swag. That is your job that day.
Well, don't you have it all?
I'm sure there's something I'm missing.
I find that difficult to believe.
I mean, I'm pretty sure there could be marathon-specific stuff, and I definitely don't have that.
Okay. And then after all that, you've exhausted your body.
Mm-hmm.
I will have exhausted mine with what I think is going to be a 7-mile walk.
Pretty sure it'll be an Uber, but go on.
And that's tiring too.
Right.
Don't judge.
Okay.
So, but then there is a recovery.
There is, which I also won't get to do because our flight is
we're flying out.
It's ridiculously early. I didn't know our flight left that early, but it leaves early.
What time does it leave?
6:30.
I think that moved. I don't think I booked a 6:30 flight back.
We're on a 6:30 flight.
Okay.
Because I checked and I was like, oh, maybe I could go by like on our way to the airport.
Yeah.
No, we cannot.
I think that got changed.
Unless it's 6:30 p.m. Maybe I didn't look that well.
Oh, maybe.
At any rate, Recovery Hub. That is taking place at the Peloton Studios. There are going to be from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. You are going to be able to recover. And by recover, I mean there is going to be the Normatec boots that you can use. There will be Theraguns, and there will also be a physical therapist and an exercise physiologist on site.
Ooh, I can recover from my 7-mile Uber ride.
Yeah, it'll be tough for you. It's going to be awful.
I'm glad they've thought of all these things.
Yeah. Also, I'm just letting you know, Tom, there is a discount on Peloton apparel if you show your bib or medal.
Well, I won't have one of those.
But I will.
Oh, you will.
And
okay.
And there is a custom heat press that I can get.
Well, how would we get a heat press back on the plane?
We won't, but I can get the clothes in the heat press.
Okay, that makes more sense, I suppose.
Exciting.
We have another Australian pop-up as part of Peloton's Spirit Peloton store openings.
If just watch Saturday Night Live. That's all I'll say about that. Was that this weekend or the weekend before? I think it was opening
2 weeks
weekend.
ago, yeah.
It was like the big 50th reveal.
Yes.
Okay, so this one is in Bondi Junction. That's right, Roz. I listened to the pronunciation you sent me.
Yes.
Bondi, not Bondi.
It's not Bondi.
Which is what I would have said.
That's totally what we would have said.
Bondi.
Bondi.
And just so you know, Roz heard her shout out. She will be going to Claremont, and she's hoping to stop in at Bondi Junction as well.
Okay.
That is located in the Sydney area. But the Claremont is over in Perth. There you go.
I don't know where Perth is, but it sounds fancy.
Well,
Perth, to me, sounds fancy.
She said it's in Western Australia.
Okay.
There never has been a physical store in Western Australia. She said, think the distance of LA to New York. So huge.
Okay.
So it's very far apart. But she will be there in a couple of weeks. So we are going to get to hear all about the pop-up stores.
Peloton and Lululemon are introducing Playdates for Grownups.
They are. And boy, do people have a lot to say about these.
What are they saying?
Okay, well, first of all, you got to know that this is another thing that Lululemon and Peloton cooked up together.
Right.
So that's number one.
Okay.
The reason I say that is because these are all sponsored by Lululemon. And part of what people respond to is that these all are very scripted. So, for example, the one with Matt Wilpers and Adrian, I have heard some people say that they spend the entire time looking at the teleprompters at their script instead of at each other, which some people felt was very stilted. Other people have really enjoyed it and thought it was really funny, but I have seen a lot of people and Reddit, oh my God.
Oh, goodness.
They are really not happy. They were a lot of people that said that this felt forced and uncomfortable, and that who does a stretch with a friend? You do a stretch when you get done. You don't go to somebody's house to do a stretch. But I don't know that that's true, because if you ran together, I could see you stretching together, you know?
I guess.
Yeah. I mean, if you stretch at all, which you should. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I haven't taken any of them. And I would say on the whole, it's very polarizing. You either enjoy it and you think it's funny and hokey in a good way, or it drives you nuts and you can't stand it. There seems to be no in between.
That tracks.
Yeah.
Especially where the internet is concerned.
Facts.
So PSNY is now letting people book for the October Artist Series classes. Now, by the time you hear this, it
was gone last Thursday as soon as it booked. So the thing about this is, we talked about this last week. I just want to kind of keep reiterating for people who don't listen every week that I really do think that it's down to one artist series a month. This is not a weekly thing. And so we're going to keep seeing these pop up where you're going to be able to book it. It may not always be on a Thursday at noon Eastern, though. Sometimes it's going to show up on a weekend, depending on who the artist is and the timing. So just really need to stay on socials to keep an eye on that if that's something that you enjoy doing and want to be part of.
That makes sense.
It reminds me of Screen Unseen at AMC, because you have to sign up without knowing who this artist is.
Yeah.
You have no idea. Could be somebody you love, could be somebody you don't love.
Yeah. Apparently there is a website now called My Registry, which we were unaware of, but I guess there's no reason we would be aware of. But instead of registering for...
Trying to pretend that I was having a baby.
Oh, okay. I was like, well, you would have some explaining to do.
I know. I'm not having a baby.
Apparently, instead of registering at one specific store that might not have everything you want, you can register at this website, and it can aggregate all the different stores. It's almost like Pinterest, but for gift registries.
Yes.
And you can now add Peloton to the list of things you can register for. So if
you've got a bougie wedding coming up.
Yeah, if someone coming to your wedding has FU money.
You know what? You point them right there.
Plus on there.
Heck yeah.
Maybe you'll get lucky.
It's only $6,000.
Somebody's got a lotto. It might as well be you. That's what they say.
That's true.
So we just thought that was interesting.
Yeah.
And it's a clever idea for a website.
It is a clever idea for a website. I wish I had thought of it.
Yeah.
Making some cash.
We wouldn't have known how to build it, though.
No, because it's all affiliate links, right?
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm assuming that's how it works, is that they get 1%, but like it's all high dollar stuff because it's weddings. And so they probably do really well, would be my guess, until 1 million competitors come out.
Yeah.
Or the other retail stores start
doing their own.
Stop working with it.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true. Good point.
And now let's just take a quick look around the world of Peloton for little stories that you might have missed. So Maddie Majacomo is doing a cool thing with the new Wicked movie coming out.
Yeah, he got to model for their apparel line. Isn't that cool?
That is cool. I'm sure he was super excited about that.
I mean, yeah.
I'm a little irritated with this movie already, though.
So that's really interesting you say that. I don't know if this made it to our bonus episode or not, that Maddie got to go see the movie already.
Yeah.
And apparently he is dying to talk about it, and he can't. Like they have.
But he did.
No, he didn't.
He did.
He didn't.
At the end of it, he said masterpiece.
Oh, I didn't hear him say that.
So
I had no sound on.
Yeah, no, that's what he says at the end. I guess he's hoping the people at Disney didn't have their sound on either. But although a lot of times they have embargoes, but they don't have it. The social media embargo is different than which never made any sense to me. But
it's not like he gave away any plot points or anything.
But it irritates me because they broke it up into 2 movies. So, I'm just like, so is it just we're going to see Act 1 and then Act 2? Like, that's not going to feel like a full movie. So I'm interested to see how they make that work without being completely irritating. But it looks cool.
It does look cool. It looks beautiful. Hopefully, Maddie had as much fun modeling for this as it looks like he did. It looks like he had a great time.
So there are new badges for distances.
Well, it's not that they're new badges. It's that the distance is now different. So in other words, you used to be able to do like gold, and you used to be able to finish 40 miles and get a gold. And now it's 50 miles. So you got to work harder.
Okay.
And then silver and bronze did not change. Only the gold changed, and no one knows why.
Huh.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah, that's a little odd.
Some people are a little upset about it.
And coming up after this, we have instructors in the news. We're going to give you all the instructors that now have new jobs within the world of Peloton. So stick around.
Peloton in the news.
It has been a very busy week at Peloton HR as people are getting assigned new job duties left and right. Hopefully they get a bump in pay for this.
My guess is this was all part of their contract negotiations.
I think so,
They've known this for months.
I also concur.
Yeah.
I thought the exact same thing.
I think this is to hide the fact that some instructors will be gone for 12 weeks at a time.
Right.
Just don't look too closely and you won't notice.
And you can like thread this stuff in other places so it looks like, and some of the stuff is probably easier on their body.
I would say that too.
Than a traditional piece of equipment class.
Yeah, like especially for the tread instructors or the bike instructors, but especially tread because it's so hard.
Right.
On your body. It's so high impact.
And you can kind of cheat on a bike.
You cannot cheat on the tread.
But you can't cheat on a tread.
I mean, you could turn the speed down, but that's really all you can do.
Right.
I guess the incline. Yeah, I guess you really could do any of it.
But you still got to run.
You still got to run.
On a bike, you can change the resistance.
And they do.
Yeah, which I get.
We should talk about that over on the bonus episode, too, because there is one instructor that Reddit really ripped a new one.
Okay.
But anyway, Camilla is now joining the strength team, Camila Ramon. And so that means that she's a runner and she is a cycling instructor and she is now going to be doing strength as well. So that's really cool. She announced it during the Selena Artist Series ride last week and she was very excited about it. So yay! Her first class will be on October 14th.
And Kira Michelle is now also part of the stretch team.
Yes. And so obviously, she's been part of the yoga team for a long time, but stretches are specific to, let's say, an after bike or an after run stretch, unless they also have yoga for those too. They have like focus flows.
Sure.
But the stretches are a little bit different. And so they are now adding Kira to that team as well. So that adds more to what she will be doing also.
And finally, Eric Yeager has been added to the tread team.
Yes, he has. He has been running on the tread. It looks like all of the German community got an email saying that, and the fact that there's going to be more of those plus programs that are kind of boot camp like.
Okay.
That's going to be dropping too. There's going to be some German instructors teaching those as well. And then today, Eric looked like he posted a little silly video where he was like, oopsie.
Oops, this email shouldn't have gone out.
Yeah, and it did.
It was scripted by the Lululemon team.
But Eric is officially a tread instructor. So welcome to new teams, all of the instructors.
Hey, Hannah Corbin fans, if you want to meet her, she will be doing a meet and greet in Lone Tree, Colorado.
She sure will. That'll take place on October 15th from 5:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m.
And before Marty McFly went back, it was Twin Tree.
I got you.
Mariana Fernandez was featured in Outside Magazine.
Yeah. Did we talk about this? Like, she had the physical magazine, but she posted... This is like an electronic version of the article.
I don't remember because I know we talked about like what's in a magazine, what isn't in a magazine.
That's what I couldn't
anymore,
remember.
But there's been a couple of them, so I don't remember if this was one of them.
I don't either, but
it did not look familiar to me for whatever that's worth, and we all know what a great memory I have for these things.
We do. Well, it was originally published on September 20th. Mariana posted it on her story. That's why I thought it was new.
Okay.
But it talks about how she's their first bilingual instructor at Peloton, and it helps Latin runners feel seen. They spell it Latine.
Oh, that's a new one on me.
I know, same. But I love seeing Mariana get any kind of love. She deserves it. She's an amazing person, and she has an awesome story, and it's really cool to see her get featured.
Rad Lopez is doing a run across Manhattan.
And it's sponsored by Nespresso. This is fun because it's like a little bit of like a run with community, but it's also like a meet and greet, and it's also you get to have some coffee.
You're also like, and there's coffee.
Yeah. I mean, it's like all the favorite things. So on October 13th, you get to run 4 miles with Rad and Rad's Run Club. And then you also get to have an experience afterwards where you get to try coffee. And his new signature recipe is going to be there as well.
Christine Dierkele is celebrating 10 years with Peloton.
Yeah. Congrats to Christine. This is really cool. I thought it's interesting because she is off. She's on one of those, whatever you call them, that they're doing right now.
Well, it's because she hit 10 years. She now gets 12 weeks of PTO.
Right. There you go.
That's how that works.
But she also is using that time to do her racing right now, her master's racing. So she's off doing that, but she is still celebrating from afar and posting about it. And Peloton posted a really nice, sweet, loving, thank you to Christine from all the instructors. That was really cool.
And speaking of her Masters Track World Championships, she medaled last week.
She did. I mean, now keep in mind, these world champs, they take a few days. This is like a couple of weeks. So this is only her first medal.
Gotcha.
Of the World Championships. There will be more to come, I guarantee you.
Okay.
But yes, she got her first as a bronze in this one. But that's with the team. She's got a lot more races over the next several days to come.
And if you are a Christen McGee fan, you can go to an event she's hosting. It's a movement and wellness retreat.
Yes, and it's going to be taking place in March of 2025. It's going to be in France. And
where the ladies wear no pants.
It's going to be, the address is the French countryside. That's what it says. That's what it says.
That's just an address?
That's what it says.
French countryside?
This is a revamp retreat. You can have a private room with an ensuite for only $3,500.
Those are gone.
Oh.
I was looking at earlier because I was going to surprise you, but it was sold out.
Oh.
So, I mean, maybe.
Did they have any left with the shared bathrooms?
There was the one where there's 2 twin beds.
Oh.
But I love you too much to do 2 twin beds, especially in the French countryside. But that was all that was left, and I think that was like $2,500. But I don't know. $2,850. And I don't know if that's like per person.
I assume.
Yeah.
Yeah, I assume that's per person, and it's for 5 days. So even though that sounds like a lot, it's really not.
I guess for the French countryside.
Yeah, because you're going to be getting all day. You're going to be getting stuff, right? You know, you're going to be using the entire day to commune with nature and do yoga, and it's going to be a retreat. So you're having something every single day for 5 days. I think that's actually probably a lot better price than it sounds like when you first hear it.
That's fair.
Yeah. It's definitely cheaper than those biking packages that you do, which also sound amazing and I would absolutely love to do. Yeah, those sound cool too.
Can I ride in the sidecar of your bike?
If you remember, we looked into this with the Road Riders crew, and they had a way for you to get there. That's all I remember. They were like, we'll take care of Tom.
And there will be chicken tenders.
Yes. So, but we never did that either. But we did go to a lot of other places, so I'm not complaining.
Yes.
Peloton artist collaborations.
So I guess we don't have any official artist series announcements. By looking at the calendar, we can kind of get a good idea, though, of what to expect over the rest of the month.
Yeah, it's they're listed on the studio website at this point. They start listing them about 2 weeks out. Obviously, that we don't have all of the classes. A lot of times, what they'll do is pre-record some of these, and they're not necessarily out yet, but. Enrique Iglesias.
Okay.
Shawn Mendes.
Right.
Gabrielle.
Okay.
There's also going to be Brat live DJ ride and Black Around the World.
It's like a Brat Autumn.
Well, I think actually, I don't know what that means.
Right.
I didn't know if that had, like, if BRAT in this regard stood for something specific, because the Black Around the World is specific to UK celebrating their, like, it's their Black History.
That's when their Black History Month is.
So I didn't know if Brat, like, stood for something.
Oh, okay.
I really don't know. Or is that related to Charlie XCX?
Right. Brad Summer and all that.
Right. And that makes more sense with it being a live DJ ride, to be honest.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
We will just have to wait and find out.
I'm too old to know.
Coming up after this, we're going to talk about a report that MyFitnessPal issued talking about nutrition and mood.
Other connected fitness.
So MyFitnessPal put out a report about the impact that nutrition has on your mood, how they are intertwined.
Yeah, it says here that reaching for less nutrient-dense foods is a familiar coping mechanism for a quick escape from difficult emotions. However, a new evidence-based analysis reveals the long-term impact of these nutritional choices on our mood and emotional well-being. I can go ahead and tell you it's not good. Like, that's the thing about junk food. It feels good when you eat it, and then it makes you feel like crap after.
Yeah.
It's annoying as a woman.
It shouldn't work that way.
It should not.
It's not fair.
No, it's not fair. But they talked about that they use the tracking and yada, yada, yada. So there's a lot of that conversation happening here.
It's MyFitnessPal.
Right.
Yeah.
But it says that the white paper suggests that difficult emotions may be a trigger to reach for those less nutrient-dense food, and it discusses some strategies. So creating a mental shift around food choices. So thinking about food as opportunities for long-term well-being rather than immediate comfort. Easier said than done when you feel like crap. Plan ahead. This one really works well for me most of the time. If you consider what your schedule is going to be, I tell my clients this all the time. You can't just react to your day.
Right.
You have to be prepared. If you know that your weekend is going to be filled with school shopping and errands and things like that, do not think that you are somehow going to pull together this like amazing, wholesome meal. It's not going to happen.
You're going to cave.
You're going to cave.
Yeah.
So be ready with food that's either already made, like it's prepared from earlier in the week, or something like, you know, that's already, that you can get from the grocery store, but that's still a whole food.
Right.
It's not perfect, but like something like a rotisserie chicken is a really good option.
Yeah.
And then sitting with your urges, also difficult for me. If you feel some way, like, they want you to just sit with it, acknowledging those temptations, and you don't have to act on them.
Okay.
I can hear them talking. So they've got more, but that's just a little bit of a subset of their items.
Well, we will have a link to this whole thing in this week's newsletter. If you want, you can sign up for that at the website.
Yeah. One last thing I do want to say about this. The whole reason that they want people to be aware of this is because nutrients like B12, folate, and zinc are super important in keeping that emotional balance. So if you're not eating a variety of foods that give you folate, B12, and zinc, you're going to have worse emotional reaction.
You're going to spiral.
You are going to spiral. So that's also what you want to plan for.
New content.
It is time for the TCO Top 5, where you tell us your favorite classes and then we tell them back to you. We will be starting off with Your favorite ride?
Yeah, this was taught by Ben Aldis. It was a 30-minute low-impact ride on October 6th. Nancy Nielsen recommended this class. She said it was a lot of fun because it was a greatest hits from all the all-for-one classes.
Oh, okay.
So that's really fun. I love that. So that's a great way to get a little taste of all-for-one and really enjoy coming away with it as a nice playlist as well.
Absolutely. Number 2 is your favorite stretch.
As I said earlier, the Playdates, they are very polarizing.
Yes.
This week, we had several people recommend the 10-minute Playdate with Matt Wilpers and Adrian Williams. And Marie said that this is the instructor combo I never knew I needed. They are super funny together. Carrie Logan also nominated the class, and she said this is a fun idea, and these two have great rapport. I enjoyed it.
I love the fact that people hate it, but it's also on the you know what it reminds me of?
What's that?
I got to go pop culture.
Okay.
Rolling Stone did a survey. It was an annual thing they would do, like the most anticipated concert tour of the year and the least anticipated concert tour of the year. And in 1986, I think it was the winners of that, both were the Monkees.
Oh my God, that's hilarious. I love that you know the year, but of course you do because it was the Monkees.
Yeah, it was their 20th anniversary tour.
Of course.
Number 3, your favorite run.
Yeah, so taking it back to the beginning of September, it was a 60-minute endurance run taught by Mariana Fernandez. This has been nominated a couple of times because this was the class that she announced that she was like officially a tread instructor, like on the schedule.
Yeah.
And Cindy Stewart nominated the class. She loved the structure. It has a steady pace and occasional low hills. And of course, Mariana's commentary. And her favorite part was the announcement she'd finally snagged a permanent spot on the tread. Very cool.
Number 4, your favorite walk run.
This was taught by Logan Aldridge. It was a 30-minute Post Malone walk plus run from September 30th. Becky Gomez loved it. She said, I woke up feeling not that great, so I chose a class that would not be too strenuous. And she felt so good at the end of this class, she ended up doing another 20-minute run. How awesome is that?
Well, she won't be doing another class after this one. Number 5, it's your unstackable.
Okay, well, this was a 20-minute core taught by Rebecca Kennedy back in February. And Melissa Vincefora, she nominated this class and saying that it's her latest core obsession. This class is so good and it's so hard. And so last week we had a 5-minute core that was so hard. I can't imagine having a 20-minute core. Oh my word.
Goodness.
33 movements and only 3 minutes of warm up. So yeah, you're getting some burn on your core.
So now let's take a look at what's coming up this week at Peloton. We'll start off with Pilates with Rebecca.
People have been raving about this. I bet this gets nominated for next week, one of our favorite classes. But she started Pilates sessions this week. She's going to be doing them every Monday, and they're going to be 9:30 a.m. And I'm hearing all good things, like I said.
Okay. Up next, post-meal walks.
Yes, and you will hear more about this in the bonus episode, but they are, apparently it's a big social media thing this summer, and people are calling them fart walks.
The fart walks.
Yes.
Okay, we will talk about fart walks in the bonus.
Yes, Peloton is calling them post-meal walks.
Well, they're a party pooper, which is worse than farting.
They start on demand this Friday, October 11th.
We got a mixtape ride.
We do. Jen Sherman is back with her mixtape ride. There's going to be a 45-minute one, and it is going to be Sunday, October 13th.
And finally, we have new cold play classes.
Yes. These classes are going to be taught by Bradley, Mela, and Rebecca starting on October 9th. So by the time you hear that, they will be out. Not to mention, there is a new lane break ride, run, and walk.
There is also a new Christian Van de Velde ride.
Yes. Now, I want to point out this is an Encore, is what it says. I thought that this was a new ride because it's taking place on 10/16, and it's called 45-minute real route, but it also says Encore, and it was originally posted on May of 30th, 2024.
Okay.
At 1:58 p.m. Explain that.
Ben Aldis's split programs are here. Should I say Ben Hainsby Aldis?
It's not just Ben. There's several of these.
He's in the picture.
I know he is. There's a bunch of these. There's going to be, they're calling them Split Plus. So these are filed under boot camps, but the idea is that it's a program. you start a ride or you start a class and you're going to do a bunch of strength. And then at the very end of the class, you hop on to the equipment to do cardio burner. And depending on if you're on the bike, the tread, or the row, just depending on the program that you would want to choose.
Right.
So Ben has a bike, Katie has a row, and then Cliff has a ride in German. There's also Olivia has a run. And then I mentioned earlier in that email that accidentally went out that announced that Eric was the new tread instructor.
Right.
There's also 2 more German split programs that are going to be dropping next week.
Okay.
So those are going to be happening. I'm guessing we're going to have a ride and a run because that's just my guess. So we'll see.
Okay.
In case you missed it,
Leanne Hainsby Aldis has released a breast cancer awareness apparel line.
Yes. And we talked about the fact last week this was going to happen, but since then it has launched. So we've seen it. It's a pair of leggings, it's a top, and those are the only ones that it is, but it's like in a really nice, pretty pink that kind of matches the whole spirit of Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And you can still get those in the Peloton apparel store. I also should say that just like last year, all of the proceeds go to the program called Cop a Feel in the UK.
Okay. And coming up after this, we have our interview of the week with Danny Lopez. I think Kindle fans are definitely going to want to check it out, so stick around.
checking in with the Peloton community.
Joining us today via the magic of ZoomTube, it's Danny Lopez. Hey, Danny, how's it going?
I'm doing good. How are you guys?
Good. We're so glad to have you here today. I always like to start these conversations by understanding how you found Peloton and when did you find Peloton and decide, oh, I got to have this?
So Peloton, I started seeing the ads in 2019 on Instagram and on TV, but I didn't really think about it until the pandemic hit, when everything closed in 2020. So around September of 2020, I was like, should I really get the bike? So the first thing I did, because Instagram was getting popular for searching for information instead of just going to Google or YouTube, I did a search on Instagram. Okay, so let me search Peloton, the hashtag, see what comes up. So a picture came up of this lady, on the Peloton. Oh, let me click on it to see what's going on, to see if someone has a review on it, because most people were doing reviews. So I saw the picture and I saw her posting every day that she's doing Peloton. And so I just follow her. So I'm like, okay, let me just give it some time. And what caught the eye is her username is I hate gummy bears. So that caught the eye too. I'm like, oh, this is weird. It's like, who hates gummy bears? Nobody hates gummy bears, So I'm like, oh, let me just follow her to see what's going on. Oh, you hate gummy bears too?
You hate gummy bears, Tom? You hate them?
Hate them? Gross. You chew on them. It's like somebody pre-chewed food for you. It's like somebody baby birded a jelly bean into your mouth. No, thank you.
Is that your secret Instagram?
Yes, I'm secretly on Instagram. I'm secretly a woman, and I'm secretly using Peloton. Yes.
Okay. Got it. Sorry, Danny.
Yeah. So the name caught my eyes. I'm like, okay, the username. So and then she was posting daily. This before stories became popular. And stories picked up later on after the pandemic. So she was posting. I'm like, okay. I just followed her. I kept on the stories picked up. I just started seeing her stories. She started writing with friends. With people around. I'm like, okay, this sounds interesting, but I'm not ready yet. So I gave it some time. I still follow her and she still posted. So I didn't get a Peloton until 2023, which was last year. So it did took a while, but that's when, I started, really getting into bettering my health, because that was a big major point where, I was going the wrong way. So I needed to better my health. So in 2023 is when I got a Peloton in April of 2020.
April. Okay.
You said, for bettering your health, was there a moment in time where you had an epiphany of I need to do something different?
There was in 2022. I work remotely. I work in marketing. So my company is actually located in the East Coast. I used to live in the East Coast. Every year we get flight out to our company outing. So I was going to the company outing in August of 2022. I'm like, okay, for some reason, I don't feel good, something's wrong. I knew I was overweight because I wasn't eating healthy. I wasn't really doing anything. So when I came back from that trip, I'm like, you know what? As a guy, we hate seeing the doctor. So it's been years since I saw the doctor. So I'm like, you know what? Let me find a doctor and see what's going on. So when I went to see the doctor in October 2022, she kind of freaked out because my blood pressure was skyrocketed. I was holding a lot of water. So I wasn't really healthy, and she was worried about me. So she told me, and this is what hit me, if I didn't change my ways, then I could have a heart attack. So that's what triggered me to, you know what, I'm still young. I can't, pass away, pretty soon, So that changed everything. So initially after that consultation, I immediately changed my ways of eating healthy and then started working out again. So
wow.
So that was the point right there. So I had to take a doctor to tell me you can have a heart attack if you don't change your ways. So
that's a quick change.
That is a quick change. Because I've worked with a lot of clients that doctors have told them that, and they still they want to change. They have intent to change, but it's not like everybody can just flip that switch, hit the ground running. So it's very impressive that you made that an immediate change. I'm curious, what order you changed things in. Did you start with food? Did you start with working out? How did you do that?
Yeah. So the main thing was the food. What I was holding a lot of water, so I was very bloated. So initially, she did give me medication for it's a water pill. That's what they call it. So to drain all the water, because I did have a lot of water, so that once I weighed myself after it drained all the water, then a lot of the weight came off because it's basically water what I was holding. But I did change my way of eating. This is before I actually got a coach. So I did it by myself first. So I started, tracking my food like anybody else uses MyFitnessPal. So I did start tracking, my protein, my carbs, and my fats. And I just started going to the gym slowly, more often. And to try. So initially I started losing weight. So I was losing weight. So I was seeing my doctor every month. Once a month, I was seeing her every month. So to see how much I lost. So every time I showed up, I was losing the weight. So I knew I was doing something well. The medication was working. So initially for the first 3 months, I was able to lose around 30 pounds weight initially. So she was surprised because she tells me not a lot of people, tell my patients, they don't listen to me. So you're actually the first one that actually done what I told them to do. And you're actually doing it,
That's got to make you feel good.
It did, yeah. When I saw her, after a year, when I did my physical, of course, when I did the lab work, everything was off the charts. So when I did my yearly this last year, everything improved on my lab work. So that, motivated me more, that I'm doing something well. And the way that I was motivated more is my clothes started fitting well. I wasn't sleeping well either. So, that's one of the main things. Sleep affects your weight and your health too. So I wasn't sleeping well. I was averaging 2 to 3 hours a night. So it's it wasn't really helping me. So I was able to improve my sleep and basically where I was watching what I was eating.
Wow. I'm curious about the sleep, 2 to 3 hours a night. I don't even know how you functioned because I function terribly if it's less than 6 hours a night. And I'm really curious how you improved your sleep. What did you do to sleep better?
I actually went to see a sleep doctor for consultation. So they actually gave me the little machine to wear for 24 hours to see what I was really doing during my sleep. So when I got the report back, they told me that I had sleep apnea. So they recommended the machine, but I'm like, you know what? I don't really want to sleep with a machine. That's kind of uncomfortable. Plus you got to buy the machine or you got to rent the machine. But they told me that for about 30 seconds, I wasn't breathing when I was sleeping. So that really got me thinking, okay, I have to force myself to go to sleep earlier and try to use, either something, either a sleeping pill or other supplements in order for me to fall asleep, faster, And one of the things that I use now, I use the Peloton sleep meditations. That's one of the things I've been starting to use most recently, the last couple of months. So But during that time, that's the first thing I did, I had to improve because my schedule for me, I work East Coast times, even though I live in California.
Oh.
So I start my shift at 6 a.m.
Yikes.
So technically it's 9 o'clock in the East Coast. So my sleep pattern was way off because, it's still kind of early here in California. So I had to force myself to get on a schedule and stick to the schedule because I needed to get at least, 6-7 hours of sleep. So and that's what I'm doing now. So, but at the beginning, it was hard. It's trial and error, but I got it going. But
was it overwhelming to make these changes that you were working on, or did it just feel natural once you got started?
It was at the beginning because one of the main things I seen people lose weight really fast. Like, I didn't want to lose weight that fast because what I seen is people lose, like on TV, see all these people lose weight or online. They lose like over 100 pounds within like a couple months. And the reason I didn't want to do that is because at the end, I'm still going to have loose skin. But I didn't want to get loose skin and then worry about, I need to go get surgery on it. So I wanted to do it more natural of losing, 1 to 2 pounds, so that was my focus. And it was overwhelming, especially with food. That's the main thing. It's like food is the main object for me. There was, the barrier in order to get used to. I had to learn how to weigh food. I never weighed food before. So I had to get a scale and weigh my food and actually read labels instead of just saying, okay, this is a portion. And when I realized that's not a portion, I was eating 3 times a portion, Just like when you look at it, you start counting what you're eating, So that was my main concern is the food.
Wow.
The barrier side.
I'm so impressed that you did all this by yourself. I mean, I that's just incredible. I also am curious, at some point you started tracking your journey on social media. When did that start? Like, was that day one when you were like, I'm making a change? Or
no, it wasn't really like day one because I wasn't really like, I've been on social media since like a long time. Every time I see a new platform, I'm like, I got to be on it, for some reason, even though I might not use it, It's like, I got to be on it, but I'll just leave it on the side. That's what Instagram was, when Instagram came out, I'm like, I had it since it first launched, but I never used it, So I wasn't really like that person to take pictures of myself and then just post it. But it changed when so the first 7 months I did it by myself. I was able to lose about 80 pounds by myself.
Wow.
But then I hit a barrier, like you hit the plateau. So I'm like, you know what? So going back to the person that I found on Instagram, her name's Michelle, the I Hate Gummy Bears. She became a coach. So I'm like, you know what? Let me reach out to her, to see if I can, continue this journey, but at least have someone by my side, and get that, feedback. So with the journey with her is you're required to take progress pictures. I never believed in progress pictures. I'm like, why am I going to take a picture of myself, shirtless, my front, my side, my back. So I'm like, but once I realized that, progress pictures tell you a lot, over time, I started saying, you know what, let me post something on Instagram to see if people will see it, I wasn't really popular on Instagram. I'm not that popular either again, but, like people still see it. So like, I'm like, you know what, let me track my progress and post to see if it picks up traction, and I'll use my marketing to see if I can put some tags in there to get a traction, So then I started getting feedback from people saying, keep it going, you're doing good. So that kept on motivating me more to start posting. But I didn't start at the beginning. It was later on in my journey that I said, you know what, let me start posting more, and see what people think about it. I still get a lot of DMs from a lot of people saying, because of you, I've been motivated to also change my ways, so. I never knew
your first trap now.
Yeah, like I never knew like motivating people, would be one of my, highlights, but brings me joy,
Those pictures can be very important, especially like, at the beginning of a weight loss journey, or I should just say like getting your health in order.
Yeah.
The weight loss is a very easy, tangible, low-hanging fruit kind of way to gauge your progress. But at some point that levels off. And if your only metric for success is the scale, like that's a bad place to be long term. And so those pictures become really important the deeper you are into that journey, because you'll start to see, like I talk about this sometimes, like, I mean, I've lost a lot of weight, obviously, but it's fascinating how different I look at 190 when I'm using tonal versus 190 when I was just starving myself to get there. And I look probably 10 or 15 pounds lighter than I did when the scale says the exact same thing. And so, yeah, I think that's really smart to do, but it can be it's also embarrassing, right? Like you're not super cool with how you look, and then to take a picture like that, it's vulnerable. I say that.
Yeah, that's how I was, like, I was like, do I smile? Do I not smile? Because it's supposed to be act, like she sees it, what do I got to do? With my face, it's like, do I look serious? It's like, I wasn't really sure, but later on I just started smiling. I'm like, you know what? Let me smile for my progress picture.
That's awesome. Because it's very vulnerable when you put yourself out there, whether it's good improvements or you're just starting your journey, you've made a lot of improvement. It doesn't matter. Anytime you put yourself out there like that, it is very vulnerable. So my hat's off to you for doing that. And it sounds like that the response has been great. Has everyone that has reached out to you been positive? Like, please tell me there haven't been jerks out there, please.
No, like, everybody has been positive, because most everybody is from the Peloton community. I'm surrounded by the Peloton community now. So everybody's, just trying to improve themselves. So every time I post, it's so funny because I can post like a random picture and it doesn't get a lot of traction on stories. But once I post like a progress picture out of nowhere, it gets traction. And I didn't do any different, but, out of nowhere, people just flock in and see, the views go up. I'm like, okay, people are coming out here. And I do get a lot of messages saying, keep it going. So one of the things I've been starting to do now is I have older pictures of myself, a selfie, and I just take a current picture and show them the difference, like this is what I've been doing, this is a 1 year difference, like my coworkers too, when they see me once a year, like, oh, you look so different. It's like, what are you doing, and then I have to explain to them, this is what I'm doing, so I'm over 100 pounds less, since the last time you saw me. So
wow. Congratulations. That is really amazing. Sure. Really amazing. And I know for a fact it's a lot of hard work. It sounds like you haven't done anything with surgery. I don't know if you did anything with medical intervention as far as like medical weight loss, but either way, it's a hard journey because you have to be consistent and you have to make the same great choices every day, and that's hard.
Yeah, and that's one of the words that consistency is what my coach taught me. I never understood consistency until I actually put it into work. So once I realized consistency is the key to everything, it's like it's the foundation. If you have consistency, if you fall one day, this is what I tell people: is like, yeah, there are going to be days. I have days also that I don't want to work out. I miss a day of tracking. I eat, the wrong food. It's like, but it's okay, because I have consistency and I can just bounce back up and I'm back where I'm at. And I've seen that, like you said, it's not about the scale, like it's how you feel and also your measurements. It's like, if I don't track over the weekend, like one weekend, and I come back Monday, it's like nothing happened. Or if I miss a workout, it's like nothing happened, it's like, as long as you have consistency, that's what matters, So
yes,
for sure, you don't let one day turn into a week, turn into a month.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely.
I always think like, well, I was consistent before. I was just consistently eating pizza and hamburgers.
Yeah, that's one of the things that I learned also is like, not to be afraid of food, because a lot of people, when they start a diet, they're like, oh, I have to restrict myself. I can't eat this. I can't eat that. It's like, yes, you can eat a slice of pizza, but you have to be moderate on how many slices you eat. You can eat a burger, but you got to make sure, you track that for your daily, So that's one of the things that I learned is like, yeah, I can enjoy food again, but at the same time, I'm tracking what I'm eating, I have to take off from here, but I can still enjoy my meals if I go out or I track ahead of time. So
That's great.
Sure.
Yeah, that's so true. You started your journey with a bike. Are you taking other classes on the Peloton platform, or are you a bike only guy?
Yeah, so I have my home gym, so I do lift weights. That's one of my priorities to strength. I don't take the strength classes from Peloton specifically. I do a several program that I do. What I do for Peloton is I do the yoga and the Pilates and the core. That's what I take. And for the meditation, that's what I do also.
Wonderful.
And walking, I do the walking. Like today, I hit my 150th walk.
Nice.
With Peloton, so I did it outside. So I don't have a tread, so I did it outside to walk. So
congrats.
Yeah. Thank you.
So what is your leaderboard name?
It's Danny Lopez. So the I and then just Danny Lopez.
Why the I before Danny Lopez?
So the I is I have this. There's this girl on YouTube. She's been streaming since 2006. Her name is Justine, but she goes by I Justine because she's a Apple fanatic. So she follows Apple. She's a very talented YouTuber. So I'm like, you know what? When I was looking for usernames, it's like before I just had D-Lo, something simple. I'm like, but D-Lo is like, and then a bunch of numbers. I'm like, you know what? Let me try Danny Lopez. Nobody had that username. So I'm like, you know what? So everything became Danny Lopez for me. So just because of her, like I have it, plus the iPhone and
Great.
Apple, everything starts with an I. So that's how it became my username. So I stuck with it since then.
Awesome.
You can tell he's in marketing.
I was just going to say that.
He rebranded all of his social media. Everything is ID.
Hey, that's what I do when I sign up for something. I was like, it's Danny Lopez. My email's that way. So it's like everything. You have my name, you have my last name, so.
Be consistent.
There you go.
Love it.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, be consistent.
Exactly.
Right? That's what he does now.
I know.
So do you have a preferred instructor?
So Kendall was my preferred instructor. That's I got the bike. She was one of my first rides. Like, who's I heard about her, but I never. When I took my first ride, she was the first one. So I was sad when she left Peloton, but she was my favorite instructor, and because of her, I was able to find a community on Peloton that follow her. So I was able to. I don't know if you heard of the Never Knocked Out crew.
Yeah, definitely.
KO. So because of them, I was able to join their group, and we always ride with her. So she was one of my favorite ones.
Okay. Is anybody, like, whenever you do meditations, who do you do a meditation with?
So for meditations, for the morning ones, it's DT. She's my favorite one. But for sleeping, Ross was a good one. For some reason, their voice is like, next thing you know, it already ended. I'm already asleep, and I wake up an hour later. I still have everything on. It's like I gotta turn it off. It's like you still think I'm working out.
Yes, I've done that.
Yeah. So the DT is my favorite one for the morning one. So
wonderful.
And do you have any advice for people just now entering the world of Peloton?
Yeah, it takes time, to get used to, especially if like I was never a cyclist before, so it did take time for me to get used to the seating. Make sure you adjust your seating, because that makes a big difference. An inch makes a big difference how you're sitting on the bike. And just like what I did, start with the beginning classes, because that will get you used to how the instructor instructs the class, because they're all different on how they instruct. And then once you start going to more, advanced and then live classes or on-demand classes, then, you'll get used to it, because the main thing is the seat that a lot of people complain, getting used to the seat, sitting down for a long time. But like what I do is, like, when they're still sitting down, I got to stand up sometimes. It's like I can't sit down for a long time, especially on a low impact. I have to just stand up a little bit and just keep on going from there, but that's one of my main, just give it a try. Don't give up. Same thing, like any, if you're jumping into a journey for health, you got to give it time, you can't expect changes to happen immediately, Same thing with a bike, you got to give it time.
Sure. Yeah. I always would tell Crystal when I get frustrated, I'm like, I didn't get fat in a week. I'm not going to get unfat in a week. Well, Danny, thank you so much for joining us today. Before we let you go, let everybody know where they can find you if you would like to be found.
So on Instagram is Danny Lopez, the leaderboard. Hi, Danny Lopez. You can find me there. I'll keep on posting my progress. I still have a long way to hit my target, but every day is it's a new day. So going,
Wow, great work. And thank you so much for joining us. And we'll be excited to continue watching your journey.
Yes.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The Clip Out.
So I guess that brings this episode to a close. Until next week, where can people find you?
People can find me on Facebook at facebook.com/CrystalDOKeefe. They can find me on the other socials and the Peloton leaderboard at ClipOutCrystal.
And you can find me on Twitter at Roger Kubert or on Facebook at facebook.com/Tom O'Keefe. You can find the show online at facebook.com/The Clip Out. While you're there, like the page, join the group. And of course, don't forget our Patreon, where for $5 a month, you get all sorts of bonus content. You get ad-free episodes and
if we get it early, you get it early.
And fart walks on this one. So thanks for tuning in. Until next time, keep pedaling
and running
and rowing.
Bye.
Clip in, set yourself free.